Welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars, where we dig into the stories everyone's whispering about and give you the angles no one else dares to touch. Today's update left our entire team stunned into silence. It's the kind of headline that makes you pause, rewind, and ask if you really heard what you think you heard. December 2, 2025. The surprise surrounding Akin Akinozu and Ebru has shaken not just their fan base, but the entire entertainment ecosystem around them. Two names with enormous weight in Turkey and far beyond, Akin and Ebru, are suddenly at the heart of a development that could redraw the map of their careers and, perhaps, ripple into their private lives as well. Before we dive into the twists and implications, a quick favor that helps us continue delivering the content you love. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a moment of our coverage. If this story pulls you in and keeps you hooked, drop a like. It tells us to keep the deep dives coming. Now, let's open the curtain on what's really going on, because the buzz is loud and the stakes feel bigger than ever. What we're hearing didn't explode in one go, it filtered out in careful drops, each one intensifying the speculation. December 2, 2025, is the date everyone is circling. On that day, an unexpected decision surfaced, one that instantly sparked confusion, curiosity, and a wave of theories. At first, the whispers pointed to a clean professional divergence, a simple change of direction. But the more pieces we've gathered, the clearer it becomes that the scope is much wider. We're talking strategy. We're talking reinvention. We're talking a recalibration so daring it could redefine how both stars are seen and what kinds of stories they decide to tell next. Let's begin with Akin Akinozu. The intensity, the commanding presence, the steel-eyed vulnerability he brings to the screen. His name has become shorthand for layered, passionate performances. Hercai didn't just make him a household figure, it thrust him onto a global stage with an audience that watches every step he takes. But according to the signals now flashing across the industry, this development may indicate a sharp pivot. Imagine a break from the revenge-fueled, fate-twisted dramas that have framed his image. Picture Akin stepping into something raw and intimate, a character who unfolds in silence more than in fury. Or consider a cerebral thriller with moral knots that only patience can untie. There's even talk of him planting a producer's flag, shepherding stories from concept to screen, shaping them with the same precision he brings to a close-up. It's a risk, yes, but one that could surprise even his most loyal followers in the best possible way. Now let's talk about Ebru, the performer whose strength is never loud for the sake of volume, whose choices feel purposeful, whose screen presence carries both fire and empathy. She claimed her place with Hercai and then widened it through challenging roles and bold tonal shifts, choosing parts that mirrored the grit in her craft. The wind around her points to something equally audacious. A desire to dive into darker territory, characters who aren't easily loved, arcs that refuse to straighten out. Some say she's been circling directing for a while, taking notes, asking questions, learning how a story breathes in silence and how it lands in an audience's chest. Others add that she's been sketching ideas of her own, writing between shoots, curious about what happens when the voice behind the scenes is hers. Whatever shape it takes, the through line is clear. Ebru wants a challenge she hasn't faced before, and she's ready to deal with the noise that comes with it. But here's what pushed the conversations into overdrive, the possible link between these decisions. The timing is not random. The tone feels coordinated. Could Akin and Ebru be building towards something together, something that breaks expectations rather than leaning on old comforts? An experimental project with an edge. A genre-bending narrative no one has seen them attempt. Or, in a very different direction, could they be choosing distinct, divergent paths so decisive that it signals a farewell to the familiar alchemy that first connected them to the world? That question is rattling every corner of the fandom. On one side of the rumor mill, there's the theory that they're teaming up to launch a production banner of their own, one that prioritizes stories they believe in over safe bets with predictable arcs. That kind of move would let them pick their collaborators, foster fresh talent, and push into subject matter that mainstream networks often hesitate to greenlight. On the other side, sources describe a carefully synchronized plan to step onto international stages, parallel projects, yes, but chasing a shared horizon of greater creative authority and broader reach. And of course, hovering over all of this is the crowd that loves to speculate about personal stakes. For now, the focus remains firmly professional. Still, no one can deny that professional reinventions often stir up personal reevaluations, too. What's undeniable is that December 2, 2025, has become a marker, an inflection point in how people talk about Akin Akinozu and Ebru Sahin. Their careers look solid from the outside, with awards, acclaim, and global audiences who came to know them through bold television. Everything looked mapped and manageable. But real artists distrust autopilot. This move, whatever its final form, screams courage. It suggests two people unwilling to be contained by former wins, two people choosing growth even when it invites uncertainty. Fans feel split in the most understandable way. There's excitement, because reinvention holds promise, and these two have never been afraid of the heavy lift. But there's also a protective fear, the kind that rises when beloved archetypes face extinction. Akin's commanding leads. Ebru's formidable resilience. Their shared electricity. Will we still see it? Will it just look different? The honest answer is that change is part of the process. Artists evolve, that's how they stay truthful. If Akin and Ebru are executing this pivot now, it's because the timing makes sense to them. They want to test their boundaries, calibrate their voices, and deliver something that doesn't feel recycled. Let's talk impact. If Akin steps away from the brooding epics and melodramatic storms and into, say, a stark character study or an unexpected comedic register, he could unlock audiences who've admired him from afar but never fully connected to the genre. His precision could thrive in satire, where timing is king, or in psychological suspense, where stillness tells half the story. Meanwhile, if Ebru wades into thornier roles, anti-heroines, unreliable narrators, women trapped by their choices, she can showcase a range that critics love to measure and fans love to witness. And if she directs, her eye for emotional beats could translate into frames that feel as lived in as her performances. The Turkish industry, already ascending on the global stage, stands to benefit. Bold moves widen the narrative field. They invite new writers, new directors, new audiences. They rebalance the power dynamics between commercial formulas and creative risks. What feels shocking today might be the overture to a new chapter for both stars, one that makes their filmographies more nimble and more enduring. And yes, we have to say it, the chemistry in Hercai was lightning in a bottle. The kind of connection that surges off-screen and settles into living rooms worldwide. It's no accident that their names still conjure that experience. The question is whether we're looking at a calculated pause before a second act together, or a long, respectful separation that lets each build their own legacy in a different lane. There's no wrong answer if the work sings. We'll be here tracking every ripple. That's our promise at Secrets Behind the Stars, to sift signal from noise and bring you what matters without losing the thrill that makes this industry addictive. Today is only the beginning of this storyline. December 2, 2025, will be a date fans remember, not for scandal or spectacle, but for the courage of two artists stepping toward the unknown. To recap, in case your head is spinning, the headline surrounds Akin Akinozu and Ebru Sahin, and it's tied to December 2, 2025. Details remain under wraps, but informed voices point toward decisive career shifts for both. We may see dramatic genre changes, experiments behind the camera, a visionary joint venture, or a coordinated leap into international arenas. The connective tissue in all versions is ambition. Evolution. A refusal to stand still. If you've been with them since the whirlwind of Hercai, you already know they're incapable of half measures. This moment feels like a test and a promise, a test of how far they'll stretch, and a promise that whatever comes next, it won't be timid. The anticipation you're feeling isn't misplaced. It's part of watching artists write their next chapter in real time. Tell us what you think the next move could be. Are we heading toward a boutique production house with their fingerprints on every frame? A surprise festival film that no one saw coming? Parallel releases that dominate two different markets at once? Drop your theories below. We read everything and we love the conversation that happens here. If this deep dive gave you clarity, or at least a better set of questions, give it a like, share it with the fellow fans in your circle, and make sure you're subscribed to Secrets Behind the Stars with notifications on. That support means the world to us and keeps the engine running so we can bring you more stories the moment they break. Thank you for watching until the end. We'll be back with the latest as soon as it hits. Until next time.